Hello guys, welcome back to Icewater Yoga. My name is Amanda and today we are gonna do some deep hip work because it's real hot in LA. I was saying earlier, there's a very specific difference between warm, nice weather and just hot. And if you are unfortunate like me, a lot of apartments in LA don't come with air conditioning. So we do this mix of window units, open doors, running to your car for air conditioning, taking a cold shower. And all of those things are kind of resistances. So what if instead we just leaned into this hot, warm air and used it for our yoga practice? So that's why I want to do hip stretching, because when we are warmer, when the weather is warmer, we are a little bit more open and can access deeper stretches like the one that I'm in right now and some other ones too. So let's get to it. Let's work on it. So let's start actually exactly where I am. Upavishta Konasana with the legs open into the seated straddle. And make sure you're right on top of your sit bones, so move that fleshy part of the butt away. And then as you inhale, spread the chest, spread the collarbones, lift. As you exhale, start to hinge forward and settling the hands in front of you wherever they land. Good, and then you're gonna find a place in your own body where you're like, yep, I feel it here. It's exactly where you wanna stay, and maybe even close the eyes. So that smooth breath in, finding a little more length in the spine, trying to avoid that rounding. And as you breathe out, keeping length, maybe dropping the chest, the core, the entire upper body down a layer deeper. Let's do that again. Another breath in. And another breath out. Good. Now stay at this depth. Try not to fidget. Try not to move. Just actively flex your toes back towards your body. So really strong here. You even squeeze the knees. See if you can lift your heels off the mat simply with the engagement in your thighs and your legs. Yeah, you feel that? A lot of hip work, a lot of leg work. Last 3, keep the heels high. 2, and 1, let it go. Lift the chest. Woo, feels good. Okay, so from here, let's actually roll onto our backs again. We'll find a happy baby. So knees open, grab the outer corners of the feet, pull them down. I want you to imagine that your thighs are like a bear trap and your body is this poor bear's foot. So can you hug your inner thighs toward your rib cage, all the while softening the shoulders down, dropping your tail towards the ground? So in other words, imagining that entire spine is glued to the mat. And if it feels good, you might rock from side to side, never losing that traction. And we're losing that pull down. So knees are super tight into the body. And then as we come down center, hug knees into chest, we'll roll forward or roll back until you come all the way forward, step the feet back, plank pose. And so just give yourself a little bit of movement, a little bit of fidgeting first to find what feels good in plank. And when I say good, I just mean safe, right? Sometimes plank isn't yeah, this feels great. Sometimes it's work. Just make sure it's safe work. So stack the shoulders right over the wrists. Find a little grip with the hands. So a lot of weight into the thumb and the forefinger. And then rather than just leaning into the arms, can you lift up? So the back body rounds a little bit. And then lastly, take a look at my heels. See how they're kind of angled back? What happens if you bring your heels right over the toes? So the shoulders maybe drift a tiny bit past your wrists. Draw your core in. Take one more breath here. And then gently bring right knee to right elbow. Cat your upper spine. Weight equal in both palms. Hold here, point the toe, draw heel towards butt. Last 3, 2, 1. Gentle step forward, back knee comes down. As you breathe in, just find a low lunge with the hands, the fingertips grazing the ground. Then slowly arms to the sky, big stretch all the way up. Keep the right hand up, left hand down. Find a little twist here. And then if it feels good, bend that back foot, capture it with the right hand. Find your version of a quad stretch. So if you're already feeling super open, you can draw left heel towards your butt, bending the right elbow. Good, and then slowly release. Without thinking about it, step back to plank, hold here. Now let's find some rocks just for a moment. As you inhale, all the way forward on the toes. Exhale, draw back. 4 more times. Breathe in, reach forward. Breathe out, rock back. Nothing in the body moving except the toes. So they're just guiding you. Last 2 rocks. Forward and back. Check in on the low belly. Forward and back. Good. Pause here. Lift left foot, left knee, left elbow. Cap the upper spine. A lot of rounding. Feel equal weight in both palms. Hold. Last 3. Keep breathing. 2. And 1. Step the foot up, back knee down. Whew. Both arms lift to the sky. Nice little relief. Get off the arms. And then find that twist again. Right hand down, left hand to the sky. Open your chest. And then again, option to capture that back foot. Now my hips are already a little bit open, so I'm going to roll onto the outer corner of my left foot. That left knee falls open, and I rotate my chest towards the sky. Now let's take 1 more breath in here. And then as you release, step that left foot back, downward facing dog. Just to build some heat, let's move through a couple of vinyasas. As you breathe in, plank pose. As you breathe out, lower halfway, elbows tight to the body. Find your upward facing dog. Hips pull you back, down dog. 2 more times, yeah? Breathe in, plank pose. Breathe out, chaturanga. Inhale, lift chest. Exhale, lift hips. Last one, continuous motion, rolling forward, lowering down, lifting up, lifting back. Nice, guys. From here, let's start to move into the legs a little bit more. Bring your right foot to the sky, bending your knee. And then as you open the hip, a couple of circles. So I even like to sometimes re-straighten the leg and just draw enormous circles with that extended foot. But if that's too much, keep the knee bent. And just make sure you switch your direction, make it feel good. Good, and then slowly re-extend that leg to the sky. Begin to step that foot up, and then bring both hands inside of the leg. So you'll plant both palms, and I want you to find a really long spine here. Notice what happens when you're in this lunge though. Does that left thigh want to sag down? If so, re-squeeze the knee, firm that quad. And then from here, as your elbows bend back together, you lower your chin, your nose, or your forehead to the mat. Exhale, press the earth away. Let's do that 2 more times. Lowering and lifting. Lowering and lifting. I lied. Let's do 1 more and hold at our lowest point. And so this is so much less about the arms, so much more about that right hip. Use your breath, maybe sink the chest a little bit lower. Good. Press into the hands. Plank pose. An option for your vinyasa. Good. Should we do the other side? Left foot up, bend the knee, open the hip. And again, guys, I'm offering the option of bent knee or straight leg. But if something else feels good in your body, something's going to help lubricate that hip joint, open up the left hip flexor. You do you. Just make sure you do the same thing in both directions. Get a little bit of balance going on. And then as you're ready, step that foot up, both hands inside of the left leg. So here you have a pretty clear view of my right quad. This is what not to do, remember. So no bent knee, straighten the leg. And finally, we find those lowers, elbows back and lift. Now, every time you lower down, can the shoulders stay level too? Right, so rather than dipping into the right one, left and right lower at the same time. Good, and then on this last one, again, we find that low hover. Lot of core, breathe into the left hip. Keep that right thigh nice and firm. Last 3, 2, 1. Press up, and then all the way back to downward facing dog. Okay, just to get off the hands for a moment, unplug them. Walk them back to your feet, and then find a forward fold. So I would say grab opposite elbows and just let the body hang here. But if you're really fiending for a shoulder stretch, then release the fingers, low back. Big inhale. And a big exhale, let it all go. Okay, from here, crawl back out to downward facing dog. And as you inhale, right leg up to the sky. 3 right elbow, right knee crunches. So we're fighting for that external rotation, keeping the body moving. On that third one, pause. Bring knee to chest. Step the foot forward. It's a warrior 1. And so you want to make sure that back heel is nailed down. Chest squares and smooth out the breathing. Deep inhale, maybe the eyes close. Deep exhale. Good, and then stay here in the legs. Interlace the fingers at the low back. As you breathe in, lift your chest. As you breathe out, humble warrior. So a lot of right hip action. Hug that right hip in, left hip starts to gear itself forward. Lift those knuckles a little higher, drop the head lower. Maybe you sink deeper into that right thigh. Good, now stay here in the legs. Release the arms and crawl your fingertips out to the left so your body is on a diagonal. And you want to stay up on the fingertips. So imagine you're holding cupcakes and you don't want to get icing on the palm of your hand. It's really high on each pad of the fingers. And then press the earth away to lengthen your spine. Send a lot of breath to that right hip. Last inhale. And on your exhale, front of the mat, spin up onto the back toes and find your vinyasa. And so we do the same thing. That left foot comes to the sky. 3 left knee, left elbow crunches. Moving a little faster, building some heat. On the third, we hold. Knee to chest. Footsteps forward, warrior 1. So feel out your Vera. Make sure that you find your little adjustments, then you find a place that you can sit into. For me, got to smooth out my breath. A lot of movement. Can you come back to stillness internally? Good. Release the hands to the low back. Interlace the fingers. Big inhale to lift. And as you exhale, it's that humble warrior. Now, don't worry if your forehead is not even near the ground, guys. Not a big deal, not the point of the pose. Instead, think about that left outer hip. Can you hug it towards you a little bit more? So chances are it's probably pooching out to the left. Recruit the side body, recruit the hips. Pull the left side towards your midline. Drop the head lower now. Good, then release the hands. And again, we walk our fingertips out on a diagonal from our body. We lengthen our spine. Press the pads of the fingers away. But don't forget about both feet. So as you breathe, both heels still driving down, dropping roots into the ground. Beautiful. Last inhale. And as you exhale, walk forward, spin up onto the back toes. An optional vinyasa. Nice, guys. Now from here, step floater, fly yourself to the top of the mat. And I'm going to cheat and come down center to show you. From here, wide-legged chair pose. So bend in both knees. Knees track over toes, sit the butt low. Arms high, breathe. Inhale. Exhale, sink deeper. Last one, inhale. And exhale a little bit deeper. Hands to heart center, hands to the ground. Now from here, option for crow pose. If you want to practice crow pose, All 10 fingertips point towards the front of the room. We come high onto our pinky toes, or tippy toes, I should say. Hug your knees into the outer triceps, and then start to shift some weight forward. Option to lift one or both feet off the ground, hugging heels towards butt, maybe straightening the arms, last 3. Keep breathing, 2. And when you're done, either step or float it back. Option for your vinyasa. Okay, so from here, let's bring our right foot forward. This time, right up to a warrior 2. So, same action with the feet, right? But now we get to drop a little deeper into those hips. Close the eyes here. Drop the shoulders. And so I say close the eyes because when our eyes are open, we start to open up to all of the distractions around us, especially if you're practicing at home. It's like, oh my God, my dog, my computer, my music. Forget about all of that. Focus on the sensation, even if it gets really intense. Use that as a cue. Maybe you drop deeper. Last 3, 2. On 1, slowly start to press that right foot straight, heel toe, left foot in. Triangle pose. So we tee the upper body, we open our chest, keep pulling right hip back to make some space along the right side body. Good, just one more breath in here. And as you exhale, left hand comes to the ground. Reframe right foot, vinyasa. Good, and then same. We bring our left foot forward, warrior 2. And so again, you may make your setup, you get comfortable, hold. When you feel like you've gotten your fidgets out, really commit to that. No other movement. If anything, you get more firm, you get more strong. Eyes closed, deep breaths. Last 2 cycles, maybe you get a little lower. Maybe the arms get a little wider. Last inhale. Exhale, slowly start to straighten left foot. We find those little heel toes so that we can start to drop into triangle pose. Now, if left hand on the ground doesn't work for you, bring left hand to left shin. Bring it to a block. Whatever's gonna feel good, then roll your chest open and keep the left and the right side body nice and long. Good, slowly top arm comes over the ear, both hands to the ground. And then option to move through vinyasa or just go straight back to downward facing dog. Good guys, now from here, we're gonna come back up to warrior 2, right side. Going a little faster, take your inhale, reverse the warrior. Exhale, side angle pose. From here, take that top arm and internally rotate. Just find a half wrap. So that left hand might come to the inner thigh, hug the right hip in and back, gaze down towards the ground. Now option here. Right hand might walk out in front of you about 6 inches to a foot. Back foot floats up, half bound, half moon. Now a lot of options here. You can keep that bind. You might even float that bottom hand off the ground. Yeah, there we go. And if you lose your balance, it's totally cool. Let's take one more breath wherever you're at. Now we stay in half moon. Release that half bind. Big bend in that front leg. Warrior 2. Inhale for star, and we switch it to the left. Take your breath in and up. Reverse the warrior. Exhale, side angle pose. Again, it's that spreading action of the chest here. And then maybe we find that half wrap. So right hand could come to the inner left thigh. Might only touch the back of your body, the low back area. Yeah, then we start to gaze down. Walk your left fingertips up, half moon. Half bound, half moon. And then you feel it out, right? Do you want a little bit of balance? Are you like, hell no, that's not working for me today? I'm kind of there. Good, and then slowly release that half bind if you still have it. Big bend in that left knee, warrior two to star pose. From here, walk the feet a little closer, heels in, toes out, goddess pose. Now from here, I want you to extend both arms out in front of you, plug the shoulders into the back body, and sit up super tall. Close the eyes, breathe. So if you need a little relief, if this is too much, kind of rock from side to side. I'm not one for distractions, but that's one that I'll allow. But do your best to be as still as possible. Fight for those knees to keep opening towards either side of the room. No buckling in. Last 3, but lower. 2, 1. From here, hands to heart center, hands to the knees. Lift up a little bit to find a shoulder stretch. Left shoulder can drop down through center, and right shoulder can drop down. Nice, guys. Back through center. From goddess, take your inhale, straighten. Bad news, we're flowing. Exhale, drop the butt, hands to heart center. 5 more times. Close the eyes. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Breathe it out, drop lower. So every exhale, we're sinking deeper into our seat. And every inhale, it's like we're gathering all of that energy up so we can drop it right back down again. Nice, guys. Last one, gather all of that energy. This time as you sink, drop to your depth. Come up onto the left toes. Just feel it out, see what's going on. Come up onto the right toes. Notice if you start to lean forward. Can you lean back? Drop the tail. If the ankles wobble, that's okay. Stick with it. Last 3, 2, 1. Heels down, stretch all the way up to star. And walk the feet together, hands to heart center. Vinyasa to clear that out, yeah? Chair pose on your breath in. Forward fold as you breathe out. Breathe in for your half lift, and then you know the drill. You move through your flow. We're gonna do one last little thing here. So from down dog, let's bring your right foot forward. I lied, let's bring both feet forward. Let's find a forward fold. Good, so from here, just feel into this fold for a second. Drop the weight of your torso towards the ground. And a pretty big bend in both knees. Right, and I'm about to offer a few different options. You pick what works for you. So from here, option 1, everyone, fingertips down on the ground. Just come up onto the toes of the left foot. Right, that is it. You're like, yeah, this is cool and weird, and I get to work on hugging my right hip back. Cool, great. Option 2, keeping both outer hips hugging towards your midline, just lift your left foot into the air, squeezing the heel towards the butt. Both knees knock together, torso still drops low. And so this is a little bit of outer hip work because sometimes we start to compensate and lean too much towards the right. So can you hug that right hip in? Now option 3, right hand, left ankle. You might plant the left hand here. As you drop the torso lower, head gets heavier, that left knee starts to open up towards the sky. And so we start to take this forward fold, and as that left heel draws towards butt, left knee reaches higher. So this is superhero pose. Nice left quad stretch. Take one more breath here. Really straighten through that right leg. Beautiful, and then slow bend in the right knee as you lower everything back down to the earth. Okay, let's try that on the other side. So again, big forward fold here. And then just come up onto the toes of the right foot. Right, feel that out. Is that weird? Is that cool? Do we want to move on? If you're moving on, just stand, kind of like a flamingo on that left foot. Right heel hugs towards your butt. And then maybe left hand grabs right heel. Now here's where, I feel like it's almost a somersault motion. Like, when you're about to do a somersault and you like
Pour your body weight forward. Same thing here. As that right knee lifts, body weight pours forward. So a lot of balance. We get that nice deep quad stretch on the right side. Can you bring that knee higher? Straighten the left leg more. Drop the crown of the head down. Nice, guys. Last 3, 2, and 1. Slowly, this time, right knee comes behind the left, and we sit our butt down. So the left knee points to the sky. Left hand behind you, right hand stretches all the way up to the sky. And as you exhale, hook elbow and knee. Nice little twist. For now, look over your left shoulder. Good, now stay in the twist. Just start to gaze over the right, maybe back a little bit. Beautiful, and then release. Hands down behind you. Kind of, what are those dancers? Can-can dancers? Switch and open the legs. Right knee on top. And the left hand reaches all the way up to the sky. And we find that same twist. And again, I say look behind you, but really look wherever your neck feels the most comfortable. If you did choose to look behind you, gently shift the gaze over that left shoulder, lean back. Nice, and then gently release. From here, let's do Baddha Konasana, butterfly. So heels together, knees open. And I actually don't want us to move the upper body. Just want you to work actively on drawing your knees towards the ground. Right, so as you do that, you'll get a stretch in the outer, even the inner hip. Notice if there's any cramping, any resistance, any tension. Can you soften? Can you breathe into those places? Good, now maybe you start to take a forward fold, maybe not too deep. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling, lowering. And so you can also use your elbows to press into your calf muscles and help guide the knees down. Only if you're super open, but if you have that in your body, it's a really nice access point for deepening that stretch in the hips. Nice, guys. And then the last thing is you lift the chest, extend the legs long in front of you. Take your inhale all the way up, and your exhale forward folds. And it's that same action as you breathe in. Give yourself a lot of length. As you breathe out, forehead to shins, nose past toes, whatever works for you. And then take a slow roll all the way up. Seated cross-legged position, and we end here with one final breath in and up, arms sweep. Exhale, hands to heart center, and allow the eyes to open. So that's it today. Some fun hip stuff, some quad stuff, getting into a couple of weirder, funkier stretches, but I hope that you guys had fun. If you were still hot, go towel off, take a cold shower if you can, and I will catch you next time. Again, my name is Samantha, and thank you for practicing with me.